There's lots of things I love about Rameau's music. As an orchestration teacher, I think what first attracted me to him was his incredible orchestration. He uses one of the largest orchestras that Paris and France and Europe had at the time. A really large orchestra with 4 bassoons and 4 flutes, a big string section, and he uses it with incredible control and variety throughout the piece. And there are lots and lots of textures, and it creates a sound world which I think is more like Puccini than anything that you might think of as being Baroque, like Bach or Handel. It's so lavish and colourful. We have a wonderful cast of 8 British singers, and as British singers don't have the opportunity to sing Rameau very often, although we do have a few who have worked with William Christie, both at Hippolyte last year and in France too. So it's a wonderful opportunity for me to explore how Rameau works, because if you're working with a singer who's never done it before, you really have to understand his syntax and how the music works so that we can really make it blossom. And it can take 7 or 8 goes through one page of music before something starts to happen and it feels easy and it flows.
Yeah, French Baroque music is gorgeous to sing. It's very evocative and sensual. So actually, I don't find it challenging. I find it very enjoyable to sing.
Rameau's music is very word orientated. He writes exactly how he wants the text to flow. So other 18th century composers were writing a much freer style of storytelling, if you like. And he writes really precise notation, so we find ourselves changing the pulse, or certainly changing the beat pattern all the time. And that's brilliant once you get into it, but it takes a bit of time to work out exactly how it's going to flow, and then suddenly it starts to flow, and that's really great. But also he was an amazing keyboard player as well, and his sense of harmony is such that he's always trying to paint certain colours on certain words, and you hear that instrumentally as well as vocally, and that's very exciting, that he really does know what he's writing and why he's writing it.
I've been singing Lieu Funeste from Dardanus for a bit, which is just searing, amazing aria. And then coming to this, to Zaïs, it's just so alive and it just leaps off the page in a way you can't really imagine. So it's pretty exciting to get involved.
As you know, this concert features Baroque dance. A quarter of the score is dance music, and rarely, even in France, where Rameau's done quite often, is Baroque dance used. It's generally more contemporary styles used in the dances. So I'm really fascinated by Baroque and historically informed choreography and how it informs how we play the music and how we hear the music. So I've been working with Edith Lalonge, the Canadian-French choreographer who lives in Paris. We auditioned 172 dancers, lots of interest in it. So we have 8 dancers now who've been working since January, very hard to choreograph, I think it's 40 minutes of dance.
We know the step, we know the kind of figures that they used to do at the beginning of the 18th century, but we have nothing, no choreography from this time. So it's reading about aesthetic books from 18th century that I try to reconstruct the dance and the spirit of the dance. This is the most important for me. We know that there was the beginning of the ballet d'action, en action. That means that the ballet is not anymore just something to make atmosphere, but it's directly related to the action. So this is the first time that the dance express an action, and it's the beginning from the ballet that we know today, where it explains a whole story. And this is very new in the history of dance.